Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Adrian, followed with your boy Alex. This is the Unknown Games podcast.
What's up, I'm Alex.
This is the start we get. We get these starts every once in a while. We have a wonderful start, and sometimes we have these kind of starts where we just kind of we just kind of stumble into it, like this.
Yeah.
Well, what we're not going to stumble into is the rest of the podcast. We're glad that you're here and you're joining us every week. And you know what? It's been awesome just seeing the kind of, I'm going to go with the stats on this, but I don't know. I've been watching, or I've been looking at our podcast stats, Alex. And like, seriously, we've got so many people in the US and of course all over the world, but our reign over the United States is continuing to grow.
That's good, I guess.
Yeah, more people, more states. And then next thing I know, it's like more cities. And even in Canada, we've got more territories. And then we've got other people across the world too listening. It's insane. I'm like, wow, people love us.
That's right. Mega popular. Give us your money and stuff.
I'm gonna give Alex an energy drink. Alex, what's up, man? What's up? What is happening? You're lower than normal on energy today.
Yeah, I took a nap after work.
That'll do it. The nap and then coming back. It's definitely been a couple of long weeks in terms of just things starting to move again. I think in a lot of different job places, just busy, things getting back to going kind of, but then stopping kind of, but then going back again kind of. And then it's been raining over here. So it's kind of like, I know I've talked to my parents back in Alabama, and like, you just can't get the best, like you can't really settle into the weather right now. It's either raining or it's not raining. It's hot, it's cold, it's warm. It's like a bunch of different things. And I know it's just messing people up in some ways too. So maybe you got that bug too.
I don't know. It is raining a lot. It's rainy season right now in Japan.
It was
yeah. I mean, I don't really leave my apartment all that often, so I kind of dodge the rain a lot. Like when I used to have to go to the office for my previous jobs. Like this is probably a really annoying season. Like you have to always bring your umbrella with you. You get really wet, like walking between the office or whatever. I would have times when like my socks would get like wet.
Oh yeah, that's the worst. That's legit the worst because you don't have. It's not like you're gonna carry a new pair of socks with you.
Yeah, I remember one time I was on my way to my old office, like my old work. I mean, and my socks like got wet between the station and my workplace, so I had to like stop at a convenience store and literally buy new socks because they were just wet.
Sometimes the puddles are like just deep. I mean, and there's no way you can avoid them either. They're deep because like, we have like downpours in the U.S. and maybe in Canada you guys have downpours too in the summer, where it just for 5 minutes you just get a burst of rain that comes down. But here in Japan, you'll get that in the summer, of course. But during the rainy season, it's just like, hey, it's raining today, all day, all night, and tomorrow too, all day, all night. Kind of, you know what I mean? And you don't really get a break from it. And so for some people, it can drive them crazy. Some people, I like it kind of when it comes to sleeping. It's rainy weather is the best sleeping weather, and it's great for eating soup and sandwiches.
The rain, why?
There's just like, when it's raining outside and it's just, you hear it from your bed or whatever on the window, how it hits the window, or just, I don't know, it's just really soothing, and.
Well, I get the rain part for sleeping, but why soup and sandwiches?
Oh, because soup and so like when you're ever like, when you're younger and it's like a cold, rainy day, you always eat soup. I mean, soup always goes with sandwiches or salads.
This just might be a you thing specifically.
It could be my upbringing. It could be my upbringing. Soups and salads and grilled cheese sandwiches. That's the best one. That's what you eat.
Yeah, well, those are good at any season. You don't really need rainy season, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll move on. We'll move on over. We'll talk about some video games. That's what we are. We are a video games podcast. And since we live in Japan, we do sometimes talk about the wonderful world of fast food over here. Those limited edition burgers and sandwiches, and never fries, because I don't think you can have limited edition fries unless you've experienced them.
I think a couple of times McDonald's has done special fries. They did kind of like a cheese fry thing a long time ago, like
What?
8 years ago, give or take. Yeah, I would say about 8 years ago they did like a cheese fry thing. I had it. It was good, and by good I mean it was
Cheese on
good
fries.
for McDonald's. Yeah, I mean it wasn't like amazing, but yeah.
It's like
If you want like actual good cheese fries, you're gonna need to step away from fast food and like go to like one of the bigger chains. Not bigger, sorry, like the what's called the more prestigious,
like a restaurant of some sort, like
well, at least like a Shake Shack. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's true. You know what I really, really want is I really want I want some more of the Black Thunder ice cream again. I saw the mint, I saw the mint chocolate one you were talking about, and I almost picked it up, but I got something else that was like, I forgot what it was, but it was just as sweet. But I couldn't resist it. I did resist it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna move on. I think we've kind of played some games this week. I didn't play much of anything last week. I barely even played Apex. Like I was just, I think I was like you today. Basically, I finish work, I go to sleep, and eat, and that was it. And I'd maybe watch some TV, and that was about it. But this week, I know I had the pleasure of streaming the best experience I'll ever get to talk about on this podcast outside of Kanagawa Jet Girls, Erica.
Yeah, that was fun, I guess. Tell us about that. So, why did you play it? How was it?
So, Alex was there watching this as well. But, Erica is the game or interactive movie experience that Sony gave away for the, their 10-year anniversary on PlayStation Plus. It's like the bonus game. It's so hard for me calling it a game, but the bonus game. And I don't know, like I said, I was kind of tired from work, and I was like, you know what? I just want to play something that I can finish tonight and kind of relax and just try something new, right? Mm-hmm. And so I don't know what brought me to PlayStation Plus that day. I just went there and I saw Erica, and I knew about it, but I didn't know what it was. I thought it was an actual, game. So I look at the trailer and I'm like, oh, this isn't like, it's kind of, a little bit horror like. It's not that bad looking. It's, okay. You know what? I can give this a try. It seems pretty interesting. And, it's nothing outside different than a Heavy Rain experience, right? And so I start the stream off, and I started out actually playing Sayonara Wild Hearts, which I might talk about after this. But Erica, you get to use your phone or the controller to control your kind of cursor on the screen, essentially. So there are lots of points during the movie that you're actually interacting in terms of opening some things or moving brushes aside, like for her to see, or peeking around a corner, or and this happens almost like an FMV, like a still image, and then you kind of like peek. Sometimes it's actually the movie section of it as well. But you're always interacting in some way or another every, I would say, at least 2 minutes. So you're always engaged in some way. And I thought that was a good thing. I thought that was a good point. That's a strong point of the experience. What is kind of strange is the story, because it is kind of a choose your own adventure-ish kind of deal, similar to the kind of Bandersnatch. I think it's on Netflix, the... I can't remember what
Black Mirror, right?
Yeah, Black Mirror. Yeah. And I played that, or watched/played it, actually four or five times, just to like kind of check out all the different choices, right? And this game, I can't do it. I can't do it again. I can't do it again. It is a 2-hour, I believe, 2-hour experience.
Right.
If you're looking forward to something, or if you want to try something new, I recommend it. You'll definitely get something out of it.
Oh, really? You recommend it?
I want everyone to share my pain.
Yeah, here's the thing. So I watched you stream it, and I'm gonna say I don't recommend it.
It's like, but like, so as someone who was watching it, like, what was going on through your mind through it?
Well, I mean, because of the nature of the game, I would argue that my experience and your experience weren't that far different. The only thing that was different for you than for me was that you had the agency, you had the ability to make the options.
Right,
But
right.
this was your first playthrough, and it was my first like time seeing it, so we were getting the same uh experience, I guess. Like
Yeah.
we were both like really just watching the story unfold, and I just couldn't like. There were times where it's like, oh, turn the key or whatever. That's not a choice. So that's no different than you doing it or me watching it. There's no different than our experience there.
Right,
But
right.
just when you had to like make a choice, that's when it differed for you as you had the actual control there. But watching it was just like really honestly like watching a bad movie, like actually a bad movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The idea of a choose your own adventure game is not new by any means. We've had choose adventure. Um, we've had similar kind of games in the past, and also just like choose your own adventure books and that kind of thing. Like, it's not a novel idea, but it is what is cool. Well, I'll give them credit for that. Because it's like 2020 now, we have just a different level of film making, I guess. If you compare this to older FMV games in the 90s, like on the Sega CD or the 3DO or whatever it was, yeah. There's an obvious step up in quality. So it is now. It's very much just like watching a movie. So I'll give it that. But like I
I'll
said,
give it that too.
it's not a good movie. Is the thing.
It's not a good. I'll give it both the points you made. It's I think that for them to have made it and it never took me out of the experience, any of the gameplay options. There were some times where like it looked kind of strange, but I never was taken out of the experience. The only thing that took me out of the experience was the story. And yeah, it's not the like I was going in expecting like a B rate, like kind of a B level movie, something where I could just watch it. You know what's going on, but you don't really care what's going on. This is something where it was too disjointed to really even to really get into like just joking about it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that was kind of the issue, is that I was hoping it would be something where I could just really laugh and joke about like, oh, why is she doing this? Why is she going into this house? Like, why? Like, who are these people? Why are they so like why are they wearing like just dumb costumes? Something like that where you can really have fun with it. And I think, and this is something that I noticed is that there are other games on PSN in this genre. This is a legit genre that there's at least 5 others where it's this kind of experience. And it got me thinking, like, what if this was like Resident Evil, or what if this was like, something that one of those kind of movies that we kind of laugh at and don't really care so much about, like the Resident Evil movies. That's a perfect example. Like, I wouldn't mind playing something like that, and just kind of joking around with it and playing it in that kind of same way.
But so you want it to be like hokey. You want it to be
Yeah,
like a B movie.
yeah. That's what I wanted. But this thing was actually, it took itself serious. It took itself serious. They tried. They tried with some weird.
Yeah, I think like it was fine. I don't know, like what took me out of it was just the story was just so messed up. Like I was watching it almost from the beginning,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I just like, even though I was there, I was present for pretty much the whole thing. I just like, I was like, why is this like why?
They
What
don't
is with
answer a
this
why.
sudden turn? And probably maybe like you have to go through all the endings to really get the full
Unders-
experience. And like maybe there's like a true ending. I don't know. Like maybe it's like some other visual novel games that I played before. And I think that brings up a different question. It's like, what separates this from Japanese visual novels? Because Japanese visual novels are very much on rails. They're not quite like this, where it's just like,
Like, you literally,
yeah,
the movie is
something.
on rails. It's yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but Japanese visual novels are very much on rails. I believe you have like the illusion of player agency in Japanese visual novels, but there's like everyone will come to the same conclusion. Like, have you played an Ace Attorney game?
No.
Okay, well, there's always
but yeah,
there's always like one, like it, like
well, there's always one ending, right? There's always
the
one.
evidence that you need to present to get through the case is like the same every time. And if you submit the wrong evidence in the case, the judge will just be like, that doesn't make any sense. And then you'll get like a little bit of a health hit. And then you're like, oh, whoops. And you just try again. You're like, oh, it's this evidence. And if it's wrong again, he'll be like, that's not it. And then like, eventually you'll just mess up enough times to present the right thing to move the story along.
Okay.
So, you're on rails, for those kind of games. You're in it. You're enjoying a story, and I guess for this it's kind of the same thing with Erica, where you're just in it for the story. Like you're just sitting down and you're like enjoying it. And it's only 2 hours, yeah.
And so it's only 2 hours. And I do kind of encourage people to try experiences like this. At least try a little bit of it. See if it's something you might like, or it's just something you tried. Like I can say that I tried it. I gave it a full try. Maybe years from now, there's actually one that's good, and now I can be like, okay, I remember that, and like I can tell myself how much better I enjoyed maybe the kind of promise or fruition of what it becomes, as opposed to what I originally played. But I think as a starting base, it was fine, minus the story. So I'm, hopefully we'll get more. Gosh, there's going to be more, and maybe one of them makes it to the top, and news sites are like, hey, you should play this. It's worth your time. But it's like Alex said, it's not too much more different than a Japanese visual novel game. So if you want to give it a shot, it's free on PS Plus now. Sony, I did some marketing for you.
If you guys want to play a Japanese visual novel, though, I do recommend like Danganronpa, Zero Escape, and I guess Ace Attorney. You could just play those instead.
If you want the good stuff.
Yeah,
if you want the good stuff. And but before that, I actually ended up playing Sayonara Wild Hearts, another game which you can beat in an hour and a half. So my whole goal on stream that day was just to make some progression, because sometimes when you're streaming and you're just streaming the same games for almost 2 months, you want to try to change it up for yourself and give yourself a sense of completion. You want to complete something, kind of a boost. So that's one thing, the reason why I tried these games out. And I have to say, I was super impressed with Sayonara Wild Hearts. Super impressed. I was not expecting much more than an on-rails rhythm game.
Mm-hmm.
And what I got was a little bit more of it was actually very fast-paced, very crazy. The music was good, but what I really loved, and this is something I kept saying on stream, was, like in a Platinum game, how they'll have those different mechanics, right? Those kind of shoot 'em up mechanics sometimes. Like it won't be a straight beat 'em up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This game does that so well. It starts out basically almost like a runner. You're on rails, right? And you're it's 3D runner basically. But then you end up doing so many different segments where the levels change how you see and how you're kind of interacting with everything. Sometimes you're flying. Sometimes it turned into res at one point, and I'm like, what? There's a mechanic where it's an old school shoot 'em up mechanic, but where like if you graze the side of a bullet, right, you get extra points. That's throughout the entire game, so you're always dodging, but you sometimes want to kind of graze it to get extra points. And it just keeps, every level is just a different turn or different twist on what you were doing from the beginning. Either something is added or the view is changed, or a mechanic is changed to the point where you're like, what? Oh, okay, this is cool though. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. And this game I can recommend it.
Okay,
positively.
Well, that's good, yeah. So let's go check that out if you want a game to play.
Yep, and you can finish it in an hour and a half. Alex, what about you? What have you been up to?
I started playing CrossCode.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I bought it on the Steam sale and I'm playing it now. So it's. Did we talk about it last week? I can't remember. Was I playing it last week?
You
No.
weren't
Yeah.
you weren't playing it last week. Well, no, you had started playing it last week, but you hadn't got far enough into it, if I remember.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 10-ish hours in now, so I kind of made some headway into the story, and I'm getting a little bit more used to the combat. So I think what not shocked me, what surprised me about the combat was that it wasn't really what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be more like a standard action RPG, like Secret of Mana, Trials of Mana, because that's what it looked like from the trailers and the screenshots. But
Right.
it kind of is, but it's like a short distance, long distance kind of combat system. So, if you're playing with a mouse, this is the mouse controls.
Okay.
So if you have your cursor, you have like an on-screen cursor. If your cursor's far away from your character, you end up doing long distance attacks. You just throw like energy balls, and then if you pull the mouse cursor closer to your character, you switch to melee strikes.
Interesting.
So, yeah, so combat will basically be a mix of you using melee strikes or long distance attacks or guarding and dodging, and you kind of just control that with your mouse. You'll bring it close to you or move your cursor far away. If you're playing on a controller, I haven't tried it, but I think you use your just analog stick, and that's like an analog for your mouse. So your right stick would basically kind of
be the mouse.
Yeah, the cursor. So
okay, but you still move your character, right? Like you move your character closer to the enemy. So in a way, you focus your cursor on the enemy, but you can still move closer to them. Correct?
Yeah, you still use WASD to move your character.
Okay.
But like you can mess up if you are standing next to an enemy and you intend to use melee strikes, but your cursor is far away, you'll end up just throwing energy balls into their face. Ooh. So you have to make sure that your mouse is where you need it to be to execute the attack that you want to execute. Likewise, you're aiming at an enemy far away, but like your mouse cursor is next to your character, you'll just end up like, hitting the air. So
right. Have you found it like kind of challenging even after getting used to everything? Is it challenging to fight enemies, or is it fun to fight enemies? Like how's the I guess the day-to-day experience in the game?
The enemies honestly can get pretty hard for some reason. I don't know if it's a combination of me being under-leveled or under-equipped, but like I'm in the second area kind of field really, and I encountered a snowman enemy.
A snowman?
And yeah, they're hard for some reason.
I'm just thinking of a snowman.
They're very hard. So they basically have like a snow bazooka that they'll shoot snowballs at you, and they hurt. And if you try to get close to them to do some melee strikes, they'll just pound the ground and knock you away, and that does like a significant chunk of damage. So you kind of have to, well, I guess just play smart. You can hit them a couple times and then dash cancel. So get out of there like before they pound the ground.
Okay.
And you can also use the environment to your advantage. So if they're about to like, like machine gun snowball you, you just hide behind some kind of thing,
rock,
yeah, and you'll be
mountain cover kind of
fine,
thing.
yeah.
Do you control your party members, or is it just you control?
You do not. It's just you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can still customize everybody, but you control mainly yourself. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and that's the combat experience. I haven't done this yet outside of the tutorial, but there's also puzzles that involve your energy ball. So you kind of have to like, I don't know how to explain it, like pachinko bounce your energy ball like around different like pillars, and it's like
it's like
you played. Yeah, it's like a puzzle, a bouncing of angles. Have you played Ocarina of Time? You remember the Spirit Temple, right?
Right.
Yeah, where you're like bouncing light off all the mirrors and stuff.
Okay, so it's like one of those.
It's like imagine that, but everything is moving. You're moving, and the mirrors are moving, and like everything
seems
moving.
Chaotic.
Yeah.
It seems so chaotic, but I guess like it's always fun to have like a little bit of puzzles in your 2D experience.
It's like an action puzzle is a thing, because like if you play Zelda games, you're quite familiar with puzzles.
Right.
Pull this tile, do this thing or whatever. But then it gets it's not only finding a solution, it's also like having the technical skill,
which is different.
to
Strange.
execute the.
I don't know, like I'm thinking about it in my mind, and it's like it makes sense when everything is still and you're manipulating it, like
Mhm.
normal. But then imagining those elements moving it's almost like you're trying, like if you told someone, I need you to solve a puzzle while platforming at the same time. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's like
what?
solve this Rubik's cube, but every 10 seconds the colors will change or something. Like like
Yeah.
the puzzle itself is moving. So if you have difficulty with the puzzles, there's actually an accessibility menu that allows you to slow puzzle speed down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the menu, like when you go to the menu, it says like, we designed this game to have this certain challenge to it, but if this makes the game just not enjoyable to you, then feel free to tweak
That's good.
the game.
Good.
You can reduce puzzle speed, you can reduce enemy attack frequency, and you can also reduce enemy damage.
Okay. Okay. So, in that case, like, how's the story so far? Are you enjoying the characters, or does it remind you of any other kind of like JRPG stories that you've played, or characters that you've maybe liked in the past?
That's kind of weird. That's a good question. I certainly love the art style. It really reminds me of Chrono Trigger. Like the menu itself just really looks like Chrono Trigger, and I do enjoy that. As for the story, it's hard to explain. I don't know if you'll know what I mean, or I don't know if any of our listeners will kind of know what I mean, but it doesn't read like a JRPG. It doesn't feel like a JRPG. It feels like a Western RPG for sure, but like I don't know. It's
Wait,
weird.
what? It doesn't, so like I'm guessing that means that it's not maybe that. I mean, I'm guessing you're still saving the world in a way, but you're not that protagonist who maybe lost their memories generic style, or
Oh no, you
there,
lost your memories. Don't worry, you lost your
okay, you
memories.
still
Yeah,
lost your memories. So
it's
how
the
is
characters really. It's just the personality that the characters have. They
mhm.
have like I don't know. I guess because like when you play a JRPG, there are certain tropes. Like there are
Right,
certain characters in every JRPG. There's always like a tsundere like anime girl, and there's always like
the opposite of her, and
yeah,
then
or there's like a One-chan type character, or like the Shibui old man kind of characters. There's
yeah,
always these certain tropes
mm-hmm.
for JRPGs or animes. Like none of them are here actually. So all the characters are just like, they just feel like they're written in a way that just like wouldn't appear in a JRPG. They have like, I don't know, like your first party member is like a French character, and she's written like in like a French accent. There's no voice acting, but when you're reading her lines, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's supposed to be like a French
Okay,
accent. And her mannerisms and the mannerisms of the other characters, it just doesn't feel like something I would
I think what you're trying to
encounter.
say is
Yeah.
they have personality. I mean, they have a unique personality that you can get through, I guess, not just the dialogue, but
Sure.
also
Yeah.
just how
Yeah.
they kind of interact with each other. And in
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that sense, it feels more like like a story. Like you're, I mean, it doesn't feel generic in some ways, and at the same time, like I don't know, you just feel like you'll remember those characters.
Yeah. I mean, they certainly have personality and mannerisms, and like, yeah, I guess they're just, I guess that's one way to put it. I know with like JRPGs, it takes a while for characters to like develop. Really,
Hmm.
they're really
Hmm.
blank at first. They're really like, I don't know, neutral. You have to
They
like get
take a
to know
while.
them. Yeah, but these guys are,
They're Western, but
yeah,
they're like
they're really memorable, and they have like a, I mean, it's the, like hats off to the writer. Like they did a good job of conveying a way of speaking
mm, mm,
through literally text only. There's no voice acting. So like I said, your first character is like French, and she reads French. I'm not actually like, I'm not French, and I don't know how this is if you are actually French, and maybe it's offensive to you. Like maybe it's like a stereotype or something. Maybe
mm.
it's like,
they're like we. I
yeah,
mean,
well,
she's
yeah,
not.
really, yeah, actually,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, really, yeah. So I don't know if it's if it's like an offensive stereotype, but she reads like that. And there's also like some characters who come across. They have like, I don't know, like what is it, like a Southern American accent?
oh, like a y'all.
Yeah, that's like that. So, you'll meet a character like that who's just like, I love steak or whatever, and she'll talk like that. And she's
I
like, for
love
this,
steak.
yeah, for this
Y'all
side
love
quest,
steak.
get me this, and they have to go find some meat for her. So,
Oh man.
you can read that, you can feel that in their dialogue. And like I said, like I'm not French or I'm not from Southern America. I don't know if those are offensive. I don't know if that's offensive to you if you read it, but
Nah, it's all good.
so I actually want to know how the game is in Japanese.
Mhm.
I would love to know how they translated.
Is there a translation available? Or
Yeah,
is
you
it,
can.
okay.
Yeah, I haven't done it, but I mean, if you are curious and you own the game or you're in Japan and you buy it, you can play it in Japanese. And I would love to know how they translated those characters because they have to figure out how to convey the nuance of those characters and their personalities through Japanese. So like,
There's
how would you
there's
like?
things
How do
you
you do
can't
it? Yeah.
really even translate. Like I don't know how to say y'all. I'm gonna guess it's some sort of Kansai accent bin
Yeah, it's
thing, but
exactly.
it's just like
It's like
it's
how
you
do you
all. But
how do you take? It's not just like it is you all, but when someone says y'all in an unironic way, there's a certain like
yeah, it's the way the
there's
words feel. If
there's
that
a
makes
nuance
sense.
to it. Yeah, there's a color to it, and it kind of shows us a little bit about that person using those words.
Yeah, because like when you say words, you say them like for me, if when I say y'all, um, I have a tendency to maybe like turn my head a certain way. I like get really relaxed when I speak using Southern, like when I speak like I'm back at home, and like I don't know, there's just such a like when I think for whoever you are, whatever country you're from, certain words and how you interact with people using those words, like you use them in certain situations, and then that situation you feel a certain way, and that's why you chose that word, and you'll act a certain way because that's just how that conversation goes. You know what I mean? And in Japan, I know it sometimes is hard because Japanese has a lot of one words. Like what would you put it? Like you can use one word to just say like four of our words in English for
Yeah, I
that
mean,
situation.
this is something that I've always questioned. Like, I'm very curious about. I'm not like a translator by trade or anything, but like, how this and this is what interests me about translation is like, how do you take a person's personality and transfer it into another language so that a native speaker would get the same kind of feel from that person? And an example I use is always like, if you were to take like me. Well, I do speak like Japanese sometimes, I guess, but like, there's a certain color and a nuance, and there's a kind of like an impression you make when you say something like "onaka suita," I'm hungry, versus like "hara hetta," right?
Right.
Or like meshi ni iku, or tabe ni iku.
Like, onaka peka peko.
Yeah, right. There's different ways to like say the same thing, but like it changes like. I think your perception of someone. So if you look at like me, but like, if I said like something I don't know, a little neutral, like or like tabe ni ikoze, like is that natural, or would you think I would say something more like meshi ni iko,
You would say tabe ni ikoze.
or like
Or
meshi
like,
or
but it would
meshi
be like in a
ku,
joking way. It would be like
or
in a,
like. Yeah, but some people don't say that, or like some
Yeah.
people would just like actually say like meshi kuze.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Yeah,
So
because
that's the thing about translation. Like it has a nuance and it has a color. So you have to match like the feeling that those words instill in people to match a personality.
because each of the phrases you just said and that we just said, like they all literally just mean let's go eat. I'm hungry. That's literally the transition of like I'm hungry. Let's go eat.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to eat. But how do you bring that like you said? How do you put a personality to that? You can't, especially when it's not. There's no voice delivery. You know what I mean? It's written. How do you change that to show that person's personality? And that's I've always wondered that too with translators and localizers. Like, do they just have the craziest amount of? And I'm guessing as it goes on, they build up their own internal library. But that first time that they translate something, like how nerve wracking must that be? Like how how many times do you second guess yourself?
It's always like a translator call. So I'm sure anyone listening who's familiar with anime from like let's say the mid 2000s, that era, and even now, actually, I think a common translation, or not translation, but a common thing they would do for Kansai Ben, for Kansai accents, is they would turn it into a Southern American accent.
Yeah, it's always someone from the South.
For the Japanese dub, or sorry, English
and they
dub.
speak slow. I don't know why they make them speak slow either. We speak fast in the South, not slow.
I want to know, like, is that accurate? Or does that make sense when you have, okay, so anyone listening, so like, Tokyo, or not Tokyo, so Japanese is different like dialects and way of speaking depending on where you live. So it's just a dialect, right? Similar to America or any other country. And Tokyo Japanese is what would probably people would consider neutral.
Yeah.
But like in Osaka, kind of by the west south area, it's Kansai Ben, where they have a different, I guess it's an accent, right? Yeah, so when you have a character in anime or a game who speaks Kansai Ben and they need to put that into English, of course the translators want to preserve the fact that this character speaks differently. They want to preserve the fact that this person comes maybe from a different part of the country. So when they're putting that into English and they're trying to make it relatable for native English speakers, how do they do it? They're like, oh, well, this person probably would speak with a different accent. What's a different accent? What's an equivalent accent of Kansai Ben? And often it's the Southern American accent. And I just want to know, like, is that the right thing to do?
The right thing?
Does that carry the same nuance? Does that carry the same kind of feeling?
I don't think it does. And I at least I haven't heard so in anime when I've heard a character have that accent because it's very much what you think of when you think of a Southern accent, especially like if you imagine someone from Texas, right? If you imagine someone from Texas and they have the big gallon jug hat on or something, that is the accent that they give them. And I'm from Alabama, where we don't have that accent. I mean, it's there, but it's very muddy. It gets very muddled, and we speak fast. That's why, like, when in a lot of the anime, when it's someone from the South and it's that Texas accent, they intentionally, and I don't know why, they always keep them speaking so slow. Like, I feel like I feel like you're insulting my intelligence in terms of like, you must not be smart. You speak really slow for some reason.
It's like or just the same thing when they have like a Canadian person in like Western cartoons or whatever, and like Canadian people don't speak that slow.
I don't get it. I'm like, we speak fast. We speak like we speak. I can't do it. Like, I wish I had someone on the show who could speak that fast, or who could speak with a Southern accent, because for some reason growing up, I don't have a Southern accent. And people would ask me, why do you not, like, why are you from the North or something? I don't know why. I honestly don't know why I don't have an accent, but
well, you probably have an accent to some people, right?
Maybe if I'm lucky.
You're always neutral, I think, in your own head.
If I'm lucky, I guess. I don't know. Just people around me have always told me, or growing up, and then even after that, just like, you don't sound like you're from Alabama. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a 1-to-1. But then if I think if it's like, you want like a Jersey accent or something, or
yeah, that'd be crazy, right? Like,
right?
why is it always like Southern? Yeah, can you imagine? I don't know. Well, again, like the mid 2000s. If you remember, like Azumanga Daioh.
Yes, Chio-chan. Well, not Chio-chan. Who was it? Was it Chio-chan?
No, it was like
homegirl.
She spoke Kansai Ben, so I think they just named her like Osaka.
Yes, and she spoke so slow. Bless her heart.
Yeah,
she spoke...
they just like, I think the joke was that she was called Osaka because she's like from Osaka, but yeah. Can you, like, why the Southern accent? Like, why get a Jersey accent? That'd be really funny. It'd be really funny.
If she had a Jersey accent, though, I would expect her to be a little bit like I don't know, like a more, not aggressive, but like, because she was like nice. She was like nice and sweet. You kind of think maybe like Southern Belle, maybe not the smartest in the class, but she'll give it her best shot, and she's very earnest. There we go. I would like to see her with a Jersey accent. She would be like Mako-chan from Kill la Kill. She would have a Jersey accent.
Oh, yeah. I would certainly agree with you there. And that's interesting because, like, again, like, we're trying to match. This is a really weird podcast. But,
this is a weird part. We just went. We were like, we're now in the second half of the show. Everybody, just letting you know.
We're trying to match like the way a character speaks in a different language to match their original personality. And I could see like Mako-chan with a Jersey accent. If for some reason like it matches her like a little better. You know what I mean?
What about that California surfer accent for Osaka? Like
I don't know. Like, I would hate it. I think I would hate it. Yeah.
But I mean, for guys, I think the accent for that is a little bit slower speaking. But for girls, it's like fast. It's faster. It's like hey, like it's like chipmunks. They just don't stop.
Anyways, that's CrossCode. So those are the characters for CrossCode. Yeah. It's pretty decent. I want to play more of it this week. But then after that, I don't know. Halfway through July already, actually. It's pretty freaky. And
that's true. And that means this Friday or next Tuesday goes to Tsushima?
That's this Friday.
Ooh, yeah. I say that like I'm ready, but like I still haven't beat Last of Us 2. I didn't even touch it this week, like last week or over the weekend. And I was just like, I want to play it too. I'm just like, I'm not in the mood right now. So I'm going to try to finish it up this week. Maybe like a couple of days after Tsushima is finished, comes out, I'll probably have it finished. But yeah, it's good games. Still making some progress in Destiny 2, which doesn't tell you where to go, what to do, how to do it. It really doesn't. It never has changed. It just got worse because there's so many more options now. And me and my friends, we're still having fun with it. We're just... It's doing exactly what Apex does for me and my other friends, which I haven't touched Apex. Have you touched Apex?
Yeah, I've been playing almost nightly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I ain't touched it.
It's fine. It's just it's Apex hasn't really changed. So. It's
Well, I guess we'll move on to the next little part of the show. Don't worry, everybody. We're just gonna keep going because we're pretty much into it. We don't have much news in terms of news to talk about, but we do want to give us some nice congratulations to Persona 4 the Golden. Okay, I put the gold on it for some reason, but Persona 4 Golden is
it's called the Golden in Japan.
Oh, I didn't mess up. Oh,
yeah, it's called the Golden in Japan, but it's just called Golden in English. Same thing with Royal. So in Japan, it's called the Royal, but in English, it's called just Royal.
Why is this? Why? Why?
Yeah, because it's dumb. That's why the Golden. Yeah, that's why.
The Golden, like it's.
So they changed it. Yeah, they fixed it. Really.
Oh man.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, so they've announced on their Twitter that they officially hit 500,000 players on PC. So thanks, everyone for your support is what they said, and that's really good. I mean, I think they hopefully see that people love Persona on PC.
Yeah, I agree. It's great. It's a great experience.
Give us the P5 and P5R. Wait, is it not Royal, but I guess P5R and then Scramble. There we go. And then if you can do 3, you can do 3, or I don't know, just however you got to do it, or just make an original game.
Yeah, I would still love to see other Persona games on PC. I understand. I know Royal and Scramble might be a tough sell just because maybe they have some kind of agreement with Sony. I don't know, or don't want to make Sony angry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Scramble's on Switch, but
on Switch.
I think this is a great excuse This would be a great excuse to jump back and play P4A, P3 Fez, even DDS. Actually, I would love to go through DDS again.
What's the Digital Devil
Saga?
Yeah. I have. Those are the last. Actually, those are the very last 2 games I bought in the United States before I came to Japan. I bought those 2 on PS2. Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And I don't know if I'll ever play them because they're still. I don't even know if they're in the shrink wrap. They might be shrink wrapped, or they might
sell
be
them.
Those
yeah,
weird...
we get some cash.
They look really fun. They look really good because like the thing is I never got to experience the first one on PS2. Was it which one was it? Just Shin Megami Tensei, the one with Dante in it?
That's just SMT. Which one is that? Nocturne. That's
Yeah,
SMT
yeah,
Nocturne. Yeah.
yeah. I never got to experience it, and I was just there was just like a couple games. I was like, you know what? And I think another game that I wanted to actually play was Rogue Galaxy.
Oh yeah. Good game. I have that on PS4 because it's on PSN as a PS2 classic. I own it. Well, I also own a physical copy back home. But yes, I did buy it again for some reason.
And I think that's like the only game out of like my collection that I'm like, you know what? I kind of wish I had gotten Rogue Galaxy. Everything else I have is still in case. I beat all of my PS2 collection. I carry that with a proud part in my heart, except for those two games. For those two games. Oh man, time to go home and get my PS2 out the box. It still works, I think.
Oh yeah, I have my PS2. I have a Japanese. Well, sorry, my PS2 back home is probably still working. I haven't tried, but I do have a Japanese PS2 that I bought in 2008, and it's been with me ever since.
Those little small
I don't
ones,
play it.
They're good.
Yeah, the super slim because it has the internal power supply, just literally like the single.
That's the best we're gonna get, man. That's like a Switch.
It's so small. Yeah, I love it. I love my PS2. It's noisy though. I don't know why. Because it's probably because it's vertical and the CD drive is, I don't know, unbalanced. I don't know. It's very noisy. It's very noisy though. Yeah.
And in other news, Valve, there was the what is it called? The final hours of Half-Life Alex.
Alex, yeah.
If you want to go download that for $10 on Steam, it's now available. You can check out all the wonderful things of I think it's almost 10, 15, maybe it's 20 years of Valve history. Alex was explaining that Jeff Keighley, this is done by Jeff Keighley, has done this before with other games like Mass Effect 3, where he's just kind of like detailing and interviewing just different parts of not just the game, but the company and the history and what led up to the game and tough parts in development. I don't know. Do you think you're gonna buy it?
To be honest, no. But that doesn't. I'm not discrediting it. I think it's very interesting, and if you care about Half-Life Alex or you're interested in the inner workings of Valve, then yeah, I mean for sure, check it out. I think you will probably come away with some interesting, like, cool tidbits of Valve. But me personally, probably not. But I can still recommend it.
Yeah, it's not. There's movie segments. There's a lot of written segments, articles, and interviews. Apparently, like for Half-Life 3, they went even as far as scanning I forgot the actor that they used for the G-Man. They actually scanned him in and were ready to kind of use his model and reference. There's a lot of different projects that they kind of talk about in here. So Half-Life 3 apparently was created in in source code. Why am I calling it source?
No, the source engine.
Why am I calling? I just keep thinking of source code for some reason. Yeah, the Source 2 engine, and apparently drew some inspiration from Left 4 Dead. Like that, I don't think anyone would have thought about that as in terms of like gameplay wise, where apparently you would have kind of had a procedural generated and some handcrafted story moments to kind of make the game more replayable. But I think it's like you're going up a tower or something, and there's a version of it where you're on a boat, and then there's a version of there's different versions of Half-Life 3 that they've kind of started and stopped on. There's Left 4 Dead 3 that they talk about in it. That's, of course, all these are unfinished. There's something called RPG, which was simply just codename RPG. That could have been something like Dark Souls and Elder Scrolls and Monster Hunter. Apparently, like this, it's really like interesting stuff in here. And there's like 3 or 4 more games in there that they talk about, just different projects that just didn't see the light of day. But yeah, it's something that I think it's really good. These kind of deep interviews. I know that Polygon does them as well. When they'll do like, I think it's like an oral history or a look at a game from like the kind of course perspective and then going up until what it is now. I know they've done that a couple times too. So if you like games journalism and if you like the studios or you're curious about it, yeah, definitely pick it up. Check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
After that, apparently, Amazon has delayed its MMO called New World. I didn't even know it had a name, but it's called New World.
I think they announced the name. Actually, there was a trailer for it, and then I was like, "Oh, cool," and then I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah,
but
the trailer was at the VGAs, but I didn't know it had a name. For some, I just thought it was just Amazon's MMO.
I think it did have a name. Yeah.
So New World has been delayed until next spring sometime. There's no date, but apparently it was coming out next month, August 25th.
I wonder if this is the whole thing with, what was the other one? Sorry, the other game that Amazon, I forgot. What was it?
Crucible.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can forget about the multiplayer mode of Destiny.
So I wonder, like, if Amazon Games is just going through this period right now where they're just like, oh shit, like I don't think any of our games are ready right now, and they just have to delay all of them. Yeah.
Right? Because it's really strange. I mean, Crucible, how can you launch a team game? For us, how could you launch a team-based game without text chat in the game?
Yeah, it just seems like a little bit of an oversight, or at least like a ping system, right?
They had a ping system, a very broken one, but it was there. It was there. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I feel bad for that team because they definitely were working hard, and I don't know if it was just a marketing decision or what. My friend was like, "Yo, why don't you just?" And this is what they actually did. They put Crucible back into just a closed beta state. So they should have just launched it as a closed beta.
I don't know what the thinking was for that. Like maybe they thought that it was good enough to release into full, and then the feedback started coming in, and then they were just like, oh, like I guess it's not really that good, and they had to kind of backpedal a little bit. That could have happened.
Yep. So if you're looking forward to that, then I'm sorry, you'll have to wait a little bit longer. But if you did pre-order the game, or if you signed up,
if you were looking forward to it, let us know. I'm very, we're very curious.
That's true. And because if you did pre-order the game, or if you were currently an alpha tester, or you, you signed up for the beta before July 9th, you actually will still get to play the game. I think it's in August. You'll still get to play it under the kind of closed beta that they're having up until whenever the launch date is next fall. So let us know for sure. We're always our ears are always open, always ready to hear from you. And I think that'll pretty much do it for the show this week. There's not too much that we had to talk about, but we did enjoy you listening.
Yeah, thanks a lot for sticking through the podcast, and if you're listening to these words right now, thank you.
You've made it to the end.
Yeah, you win.
You win. We need that KO. You win.
Oh, I have a KO, but I don't have a you win.
Oh, man. We need that.
KO!
You win.
Yeah, I don't have a you win. No.
So, we'll see you again next week. Remember, you can always follow us on social media on our lovely YouTube channel at Unknown Games Podcast. You can also check us out on Twitter and Instagram at UGP_cast. And we don't have any other networks unless you find us on the secret webs.
No, do you know what? No, don't say that. That sounds bad. We're not on any kind of dark web. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, we're on normal web. We're on the normal web. We're on normal web.
All right.
So have a great day, great night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Remember to put out something great into the world. Remember, you set the tone, and go play some games. Enjoy your life, and we will catch you again next week for episode number 43 of the Unknown Games Podcast. Until then, peace.
Peace.
Yada!
Hey, Adrian, never thought about making a podcast?
All the time, except for we are already making a podcast.
No, but I mean like a different one, maybe a better one.
Sure.
Yeah. So I was on the internet. I was trying to figure out like what's the best host for a podcast, or pretty much how can I make a podcast? And I think I settled on Anchor.
We're already using Anchor, buddy.
Wait, are you serious? Are we actually?
I'm actually serious because it's free. And of course, we're on like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and like Google Podcasts, and so many other places.
Wait, how do we do that though?
Anchor did that for us.
Oh, just like automatically, right? Anchor will just distribute your podcast for like free?
Exactly. Wait, I thought you did the research.
Yeah, well, I kind of did, but I do know that Anchor will help you make money from podcasts. Cash money.
Cash money grabs. Exactly. That's how we're making money right now, I think.
Absolutely. Like right at this very moment.
At this very moment with this sponsorship.
Well, I mean, also Anchor has some pretty cool creation tools that let you record and also edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer, because I know you got one of those, probably.
I do have a computer, but I don't have a phone.
Well, whatever. You can still make a podcast, because in 2020, there's no reason why anyone shouldn't have a podcast.
Everyone deserves a voice. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Well, Anchor is just everything you need to make a podcast, but just all in one place. You can download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Enjoy the show, everyone. Thanks for listening.